We try and manifest what we want every year in January, but sometimes we fail. It usually takes about 16 days and you lose interest in what you want to manifest. On today's show, we're going to speak to an expert that knows how to manifest magically. Hi, welcome to the Secret Men's Business Podcast. This is Joey Buzzertle. On today's show, we're going to be talking about manifestation, things all about mental health, and stuff about happiness and joy. It's my gorgeous friend Tanja Lee. Tanja, how are you?
Oh my God, I am beside myself.
I'm beside myself. It's like when I wrote to you, I thought she's too busy because you're so busy.
No.
And then you said yes straight away, and I went straight into production mode and started putting everything together. So how you been? How's 2020 been for you?
Well, first of all, I want to just start by saying thank you for the privilege to be with you and your gorgeous energy, and I want to acknowledge you for consistently putting out amazing content to elevate people and help them live a better life. I just love the skin you're in and the soul that you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. But I need to say something to you and to the guests. So I want everyone to know that this woman is the reason why Secret Men Business was born, because there was a day that we were talking and she said something to me many years ago about doing this, and I didn't believe her, and now here we are. And then she rang me one time and we had this long talk. So Tanja, you are the Secret Men's Business.
I'll take it.
So thank you. So this is an appropriate thing, isn't it? Manifesting, you helped me to see it, even though I didn't believe it. So before we start, though, do you want to just tell our audience a little about you, like what you do?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I am, at the time that we are doing this podcast, I'm 48. I live down in the Mornington Peninsula with my two girls, Kaya Ruby, who's 18, and Amber Lily, who's 16, and our two dogs, Chelsea and Chief. And here's my why. Here's why I wake up every day. I truly believe that we are miracles on earth, and what I am of service to is to empower people to fulfill their potential now. And the reason that matters to me is it's just not okay with me that, around 98% of humanity are walking around feeling like they're not worthy, don't deserve, and aren't good enough, worried about what people think of them when we're miracles floating on a rock in space.
Yeah.
Many people are just not happy with the experience of being human. So I am a leading life and business coach. I run my own business as a speaker, trainer, coach, author, and soon to be podcaster, just like you.
Yeah.
And like just every day I work with people to really transform three key areas. How can we heal and release the past and get clear and present to our passions and purpose so we can become masterful at manifesting our soul's desire now?
Oh my God, every time you talk, I just get goosebumps. I mean, like
Aw.
your Instagram, you look gorgeous, and I go, wow. But one thing that I wanted you to, I guess, tell the audience a little bit is that because when I first met you, you weren't doing this. So you yourself went through some manifestation and transformation. So can I ask, like, because I don't think I know this, like, what was the pivotal moment for you to believe that you were able to create this wonderful business and platform where you can reach thousands of people?
Wow, that's such a great question. Joey, I knew as a kid, I'm an only child, and I used to sit my toys in a semicircle, and I would practice for ages holding a book like the teachers used to hold it, like in your hand, like that. And I used to pretend to teach. I did like roll call and library cards and little envelopes, and I didn't know what I was teaching, but I just wanted to be a teacher. And then at the age of 16, I astral traveled for the first time, where your spirit leaves your body and
Wow.
you're aware of your physical body, and then you're aware of your soul. And I was aware of both. And the experience was so significantly life altering. I just knew there was more to being alive and being on earth than met the eye. So I started to deep dive into a lot of study, and I got a message, a calling that I wanted to be someone that inspires others to believe in themselves. Now,
Yeah.
to answer your question, I also believe the very thing we do is the thing we need the most. I didn't believe in myself so much in some areas, but I knew I always wanted to be a stand for people to realize their potential. So I've had, over 30, 35 years experience working in the corporate, private, retail, government sectors, and amazing jobs leading multi-million dollar businesses and hundreds of people. But I think the calling just became too strong, and it just took, it might have been maybe, I don't know, 8 years or so ago now, where in fact, I think I was doing, yeah, my gosh, I started this business doing free intuitive readings
I know. I
because
remember. I remember
I
you
was
did one for me.
yeah, well, exactly. See?
But the thing is, also remember that we had always talked about it. So I think you and I are on a very similar pathway. I think you're a little bit ahead of me, but we always thought about it. But I think we got bogged into our routines.
Yeah.
So then something happened. Do you think it was the environment that changed, or do you think that it was just the right time? You know what I mean? Like, because you just, I felt like overnight you just became this. It's like you cut your hair and you became a different person.
Yeah, what, be careful when a woman cuts her hair, she's about to change the world. I think it was a combination of things, Joey. I think I kind of uh, I'd done a lot of study. I did a lot of personal work. I studied NLP. I did a lot of work around spirituality and, how to be a magician of the material world. I studied entrepreneurial leadership. I knew I had a desire and a passion and a dream, but I knew I didn't want it to be a hobby. I wanted it to turn it into a robust business where
Right.
I could be a contribution to as many people as possible and create a living and provide for my family and have a great lifestyle. And how divine that we can do that if we
Yeah.
choose.
I mean, like, yeah, it makes sense. So I guess the reason why I asked you that question is because I love what you just said is that as coaches, we need to also look at ourselves, right? So you did that. So then when your clients come to you and they want to manifest something, say they don't know how or what, even like what they want, what is some of the strategies or some of the techniques that you might introduce them to or actually lead them through to start to connect with it? Because like just recently I just did I did a vision workshop recently. I normally do it in January, but I did it a bit later because 2020 was weird, and a lot of the guys in the workshop were struggling, right? So I know that some people don't have a clear vision. So what's your way into that doorway?
Look, we could just spend the whole podcast on this one question because this is
Mm,
a critical question. So I want to just rewind the clock a little to answer this question. The first thing I want to share as a premise to consider is there are two places we can create from. So to manifest is to create, and to create is to bring something into being from nothing, from no thing. You have a thought, you have a hope, you have a wish, you have a dream, you have a desire. So, how do I turn my idea, my dream, into a physical reality, right? Such a great topic. Oh, and what I'm present to right now is even just having this conversation with you, it is confirming my message of really wanting to, provide a clear pathway for people to do this because that's why we're here. We want
mm.
to make manifest what's in our heart.
So can I just ask, so you honestly like, and this is, I know the answer, but I just want to make sure that you say it so everyone hears it.
I will say
You believe that everyone can manifest what they want?
yes.
Yes.
However, here's
However.
what you want to say. However, here's what was in his head.
You said I had energy. Look at your energy this morning.
Okay, so I'm up at 5. I trained at the gym. I've had a bullet coffee. I'm ready to rock. I want to suggest that we have two orientations that we can manifest or create from. So before I answer the question, how do we manifest? I want to answer the question that you haven't asked, which is what's more important than that is we can
Why?
manifest from our soul. So consider we have two orientations. We have our soul. This is our innate nature. This is our natural genius. This is the heart of who we are. Here we are, the creator of our own reality, and our agenda is just to make manifest, to bring forth, to uncover and discover the heart of who we are and live it out loud. And it is as unique to us as is our thumbprint.
Mhm.
And the Native Americans believe that in our heart there is what's called the land of plenty. And I actually lead a visualization around this where you literally go into the landscape of your heart and you walk around and you see the themes of why you're here and what you came here to experience and express.
Yeah. So before you say the second one though, like It sounds wonderful, and I get it, and I've been through that. But do you think that what's the main reason why people can't get it before we move
Well,
on?
here's
Is it just thoughts that you were saying earlier?
yes, here's why. Beautiful segue. The second part of so
Okay.
we can be in our soul and we can create and manifest from there. Or to answer your question, we can be in our ego.
Mm,
And our ego is a wounded child,
hmm.
our inner saboteur, and our victim of circumstance. The ego is the identity we created to survive a shitty experience we had as a child where we didn't get love and nurturing from our mother or the feminine, or acknowledgement and praise from the masculine. So here we are. Consider you and all your beautiful divine yummy listeners. We come here, planet Earth. This place is amazing. I'm going to get 100% love and nurturing and bosomy loving. This is your home, Joey. This is where you live and belong, and I love and nurture you. And I'm going to get 100% acknowledgement and praise 100% of the time. And it's impossible. So
Mm.
typically around the age of 2 or 3, something happens. But little note to self, and if you can write this down, if you're listening or watching, please write this down. It is not what happens to us that defines us, it's what we decide as a result.
Yeah.
So we're around 2 or 3, something happens, we didn't feel loved and nurtured or acknowledged and praised, and we make one of 4 key decisions. I'm not good enough, I've done something bad, or I'm bad, I'm alone, and I don't belong. And that is the genesis of our ego. Now,
Mm.
we can be in our soul, going for our heart, creating what we desire, or we can be in our ego. Now, 98% of humanity, Joey, are residing in their ego.
Yeah.
We are believing the decisions we made about ourselves, others, in the world. And if in our soul, our agenda is to create what we love, in our ego, our agenda is to seek validation to reinforce who we think we are. So
Yeah.
the key here is, first of all, before you start creating, before you do Joey's vision workshop for 2021 and get clear about what are you here to create, I want you to consider, which orientation are you in? Are you in fear? Are you in love?
Mhm.
Are you in seeking validation and believing you're not good enough? Or are you sitting here in this inquiry of who am I and what do I love?
Yeah.
Because you will manifest from whatever orientation you're in. So that's the
Yeah.
first.
Yeah. I
So
mean, like, on your website, is this what you call the completion process?
no,
No.
this is a creator
Sorry. Yep.
alignment process.
Right.
Yes. So have
Okay.
you research like
Of course, I read everything. So the description is either you connect with your values or your passion or your soul, and you follow the path that you're meant to live on. So in other words, you're not listening to your story; you're just
yeah,
doing what you're meant to do. Or the other thing is that you're a victim, or you're caught up in your story, and it's going to stop you, right? So can I get you just to audit me for a minute?
yes.
Because I think this year I really took that on, and I don't really understand how that happened. Like, I for the first time in my life, I feel totally aligned with my passion. I'm doing things organically, so I'm doing what you're saying. But I don't. If you had to ask me how, I don't know how that happened. So, do you think that I just was doing all this work to clear away the ego stuff, and
Yes.
then I was ready?
Yes, I do believe that. I think I feel it's a frequency. You've done a lot of work, Joey. Like let's let that be known. You've studied a lot so you can be of service to others, and you've done a lot of self-inquiry and self-development, and I know will continue to. And it's like it's a muscle. So we have literally 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day. 90% of them are the same regurgitated thoughts as the day before, and 85% of them are negative. So we're
Yeah,
reinforcing the egoic story.
yeah.
How I believe you came to this place of da alignment, we're not in Kansas anymore, let's go to the city, is you've done the work to become the observer of which one are you broadcasting from. So my philosophy is you've got Soul FM, and
Yeah.
that's the kick-ass playlist that moves. It's
And it's
FM.
easy,
It's
easy,
easy.
easy, and you want to do it, and you don't even think about it.
And you don't
But yeah,
need permission and you don't need validation. When you're tuned into Soul FM, it's positively for me and it moves me forward. Ego AM is shitty talkback radio that is negatively about me and it works against me. You did the work to become the observer of which one am I broadcasting from. You know the difference between broadcasting from your limiting beliefs and you know the magic of I mean, if people are listening and I don't know how to manifest, I would just say start with having an attitude of gratitude because that will elevate your altitude.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering what there is to be grateful for, then listen.
Yeah. And do you mind if we come back to that a little bit? Because I
Yes.
think that's important. I think like another thing for me is that, you know, having my disability, right, taught me to surrender. And
Yeah.
so surrendering is a big thing. Now, the reason why I brought myself up is because, you know, you just, you know, acknowledge that I've done a lot of work and I freaking have.
Yeah.
So how do you get someone who hasn't not to be afraid of that journey? Because, you know, people hear that and go, oh my God, I want it now. So, you know what I mean? And they've also, I think there's been a misconception with The Secret, that book.
Yes. Yes.
You know, you just think about something and there it is on your porch. The thing is that, you know, you're really resonating exactly what I believe to be the truth. And that's what I really am an advocate for in the group is that we have to do work.
Yeah, we do. We do have to do work, but I guess we have to undo what we did to ourselves, and we need to bring consciousness to that because I believe we don't get incarnated here. It's kind of part of the hero's journey. You know, we have to slay some dragons to really come back to why we got here. And I think, you know, yes, we have to undo what we've already done. Before doing this podcast, I did my tea with Tanja Lee and I did some life coaching for a woman who really got to see that she's been running this limiting belief for over 45 years.
Yeah.
And she's only now just giving herself permission. So to answer
yeah, that's a good answer actually.
You know,
It's permission. I think that's the best answer.
It's permission. And here's what I know to be sure, as gorgeous as you are in front of me. How old are you now, Joey?
53.
You're 53, I'm 48. Shh, don't tell anyone. Right? You look good. It's only a number anyway. Here's what I know to be truer than true. Because of the work that I do every single week with people, right, unlocking their potential and releasing the past that shackles them and keeps their potential intact. I really believe that we are wounded kids in adult skin bags.
Mm-hmm.
And we're waiting for validation from mum or dad, from the teacher, the boss.
Oh my God, you're doing my head in.
The dog, to give us permission to live our heart out loud.
Yeah.
And it is our addiction to validation that has us frozen in time. And the key is to not push the ego aside or chastise the inner child. It is to self-soothe and parent within by holding little Joey's hand and little Tanja's hand and going, you know what? I hear you.
Yeah.
You made a decision.
I so hear you because it's so funny because I make these podcasts and I get excited because I live with my parents and I get excited when I show them and they're not interested. So there's instantly no real validation. But I've learned that I don't need validation. I don't care. This passion drives me to do it for myself because funnily enough, like I spend more time on Secret Men's Business, which is free, than I do on my own business. So because I love it, right? So because this is a predominantly men's podcast, do you feel from your experience as a coach that there are particular limiting things that men connect with that stop them from doing this work?
Yes, I was thinking about this morning in preparation for this, and I really do. And one thing I actually really would love to put into the space is there's been a lot of discussion about equality and the Me Too movement, and valid and needed. However, I also want to acknowledge that I believe that men have also been residing in a paradigm that they need to be the providers and strong and suck it up and not necessarily be vulnerable and seen as weak. And I know from knowing you as a nearest and dearest friend and the work that you do, you're also here to bust that myth because men, like women, we are humans and we have emotions and we have feelings. So shout out to all the guys because I do believe that you also get the sharp end of the stick of what is socially expected of you and who you should show up as. Whether you grew up in that environment of don't cry and you got to be strong and you're the provider, and because we are all masculine and feminine within.
Don't
And
you think, can I just add, like, don't you think that again, this is my opinion, guys listening, but I think that we've come to the time that we have to stop, like, looking at gender.
oh my God, yes.
Because see, if I'm listening to what you're saying and I know what people are going to say to rebut that, right? So it just seems to be, it's like a tennis match all the time. So if we remove the gender and just say, you know what, sometimes there are, people get abused and sometimes people are hurting and sometimes people are in pain, or sometimes people are living a role that they don't really know how to live, but we don't have an environment. Either it's a woman getting domestically abused or it's a man who can't show his anxiety or depression. Right. No one seems to want to talk about it like that. I don't know, maybe we're not at that place yet.
I don't think we are. I think we are becoming to that place. But I wholeheartedly agree. I look forward to the day, and I hope it happens in our lifetime, Joey, where gender and sexual orientation and how much you earn and the color of your skin does not define who we are. What we share is our tears are the same color.
Humanity, isn't it?
Is the same color, and the rest.
And humanity. Like, my theory, right? My theory is that this whole explosion of transgender is the key to unlocking equality. That's my theory.
That's a big statement.
Well, it's like, all these people all of a sudden becoming their true self, like female or male or they. And once we embrace and start to submerge into that culture, it is going to be easy to understand because they use pronouns like they and them. And we will not see. It's about this. I think it's just a stepping stone. That's my opinion. That's all.
Well, I'd like to dig deeper into this philosophy of yours, which I appreciate. I feel that transformation occurs, whether it's ending slavery or, gender equality or whatever the paradigm that we're busting through over the eons of time is. I believe that it is pioneered by brave hearts, those that are willing to reside in their truth and carve their own path and be a lighthouse for others, whether that is transgender, whether that is
a woman getting like doing Qantas in 1970s so they can work when they're pregnant. All that stuff is someone has to do it, right?
But you must be a pioneer. You must be a brave heart. And if there is something I desire for everyone listening and watching, that is to shift the orientation with this word selfish. We've been taught that to be selfish is bad and wrong. I believe to be selfish is to be full of self, giving oneself permission to authentically live your truth out loud, uncompromised. There is a distinction, however, between selfish and self-absorbed or, self-obsessed. Not interested in that. Would like to be here to be of service to others. But when we stop the addiction of seeking validation and we get curious into the heart of who we are and we get interested in being full of self and pioneering our own progress without permission externally and giving ourselves permission, that's when we become entering a slipstream for true manifestation with ease.
Do you think, oh my God, I love you so much. Do you think 2020 and now moving forward, it's, going back to what I was saying earlier, there are a lot of people that I've heard in sessions or even in the group that they sort of stay stuck in that place, right? But do you think that we are now in a really good place where really everything that we need is really available? Isn't it? Like, you can find something. You don't, like, remember 20, 30 years ago, you had to go get a book now everything's there. So people can at least listen to this and research, right? And start the journey. What do you think?
Transformation is at our fingertips 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days in a year. However, definition is decisive. Now, you have an empowering definition. Your definition of reality, whether it be 2020, 1820, or 2050, is now's the perfect time to be alive. There's information available. That's your definition. So you will see that which is consistent and coherent with that.
Yeah, but again, I based that on the fact that I couldn't walk. I just could, when you go through a trauma, I get it now. That's what they call a life-changing moment or a rock bottom. Like that, when this whole year, COVID was nothing because I couldn't walk.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't care.
You practiced for months how to jump half an inch, or a
Yeah.
year. It took you 12 months. So you have perspective, right? You have perspective. I think perspective, our point of view, our definition is decisive, meaning those of you that are listening and watching, whatever you perceive to be true will become the paradigm you're in. And we cannot see the ocean from inside our own fishbowl. And
Mm.
what I know you do, Joey, inside of Secret Men's business is try to smash the fishbowl and get people to swim in the ocean to see what actually is possible when we go beyond our preconceived beliefs, limitations, environment, and conditioning.
Yeah.
So if you choose to see that this is the best time to be alive and that COVID was a catalyst for people to tune into what is their highest truth,
It's
then that's your
adaptation.
experience. If you go, this sucks, this is happening to us, and Trump this, and Biden that, and the economy this, and Andrews that,
Yeah.
and you shrink, you will have a fixed mindset and your world will become very narrow,
Yeah.
like a fly in a jar
Yeah.
with a lid on.
And you said something earlier, maybe you want to expand on. You said we were talking about the starting steps and you mentioned gratitude. So do you want to, we've talked about gratitude before, but do you want to give, how do you do gratitude? So that listeners may want to maybe
It's
pick that
really
up.
simple. I wake up every morning, thank God. And as soon as my right foot hits the floor, I say thank. I stand up. My right foot is thank. My left foot is you, and I'm literally arms out, going, I'm here again,
Yeah.
like another day.
It just grounds you, doesn't it? Straight away.
It's just like another day. I'm here again, another day.
Mm.
I subscribe to the great work of, I don't know if you're familiar with Esther Hicks or Abraham Hicks, and really, like you said before, I think The Secret kind of was a catalyst for inquiry to bring manifestation to the mainstream, which was great, and good on you, Rhonda Byrne and the team, for doing that. However, it did kind of paint a picture that, yeah, you meditate and a bag of money falls out of the sky and then there you go. And that's not how it works. If you've never heard of Esther Hicks or Abraham, Esther Hicks is a mature woman that wanted to learn how to meditate. She met this inverted commas collective consciousness that goes under the name of Abraham, and their philosophy in the law of attraction, or said in another way, the art of manifestation, is if you're broadcasting I want, I wish, you're just going to manifest and attract more wanting and wishing. What we need to do, manifestation is energy, it's resonance, it's frequency. And you cannot manifest that which you are not in resonance with.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
gonna say
that I think that's what the surrendering part is.
yeah.
Because you've got to, like, I remember when I was the worst and I didn't have, like, I wasn't working, and I remember I was seeing a coach and he said, you cannot attach to worrying about money. So he taught me how to surrender. And you know what? In that whole period of time, I never went without. It just came because I surrendered and had trust. So, that was interesting. And it's funny as well. Like, I just finished yesterday. This is the weirdness about synchronicity. I just finished watching the whole Esther Hicks series yesterday. Yeah.
Amazing work. I highly recommend those watching and listening to check it out. And their teaching is to manifest. So as I've said before, first of all, have awareness of which orientation are you in? Are you in fear or are you in love? And a really great resource is a great book by Gerald Jampolsky called Love is Letting Go of Fear, which is kind of in that sphere of surrender. Our ego is, here's why we don't manifest, Joey. We are addicted to knowing, have to know when, how, when's it going to happen, and how's it going to show up, and where's my man, and where's my woman, and where's that job, and where's my money, and where do I lose these clothes? So we have to know, and we have to get it right. And that is the ego. You will never manifest when you're trying to control the outcome. The best way to manifest is to connect with what you desire, the thing, the experience, the partner, the body, the health, the money, the whatever it is. And rather than focus on the thing, focus on, well, let me ask you, Joey, what is something you desire to manifest?
Well, I've decided I want to make a documentary next year. So I've already made it, and I haven't started.
Okay, great. So now I want you to imagine The documentary is made as you already have. And
Hmm.
notice the key word here, my friends, is imagine.
Hmm.
Einstein talked a lot about imagination, and that is the palette, the paint, and the brush of our heart. When we are in our ego, we are a victim of circumstance trying to control situations and people and outcomes. When we sit in the seat of our soul, we are the creator of our reality. And to access it, we have to go into this childlike state where anything and everything is possible. And that's called innocence,
Mm.
surrender. Innocence is in no sense. It doesn't make sense to make a documentary. It's beyond rational mind,
I
but
know.
it
I've got
is
no experience, but I just know that it's
exactly
okay.
right. You know, because your imagination is what accesses realms beyond our fixed point of view. And that's why Einstein was Einstein, because he didn't sit in the chair of what he knows. He opened his imagination up, which accessed altered paradigms or broader frequencies of
Mm.
information. So, what I'd love you to do is imagine, as I'm sure you already have, the documentary.
Oh my
Now,
God, I so have.
the documentary's there, people are seeing it,
I'm a Cannes Film Festival doll.
exactly. Now, I want you to imagine now you're at Cannes Film Festival. You've got some of your favorite peeps with you that have traveled with you to share the experience. You've got people on social media following you and your whole tribe. And we're about to watch your documentary with a whole bunch of people that have come together for this moment. When you tune into that vision, how do you feel?
Well, I mean, before I even answer that, like I feel like the feeling of trust and surrender and confidence came to me even before I thought about the documentary because it just came organically.
Yeah.
So I feel very trusting. This whole year has been all about that. Like, I'm doing things I've never done before and I'm trusting, which, I have to admit, I have thought that is this an old age thing? Do you get old and this is what happens? Because I did question in my head, why didn't I do this in my 20s or 30s or 40s? Because I could have kicked so many goals. But I think you explained it really well about breaking down the ego and all that. Can I just add with that, what is fear the main reason why people don't go into that space? The ego creates fear. Is that right?
The ego is orientated in fear, and
And protection, right? Yeah, it's protecting
yeah,
you.
fear as an acronym is false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
It's our story. Our story, though, becomes our reality, and we become addicted to the emotional connection of that story, which is very limited. And we live like that's the truth. And so
Yeah.
we completely disconnect from the heart of who we
Mm.
are. Yet, I promise you, there's going to be a gazillion people listening to this and watching this that might kind of agree or go, yeah, I get that. But if you tune into your gut, you can feel this flame of potential.
Mm.
You know there's a well of wealth and culture and experience, and you can sense there is more to you than meets your current eye. And that is what I'm inquiring you get interested in, is
Yeah.
to what stops us? Fear.
Yeah.
What stops us is there's 5 benefits that our ego gets out of keeping us stuck. Number 1, we're addicted to being right about our limiting beliefs. Number 2, we avoid responsibility. We blame others and we don't step into being the truest expression of who we are. Number 3, we stay safe and comfortable, Joey, in familiar territory. We don't like it there, but we know it there. Number 4, we get to be a victim. Now, victim in this distinction means someone that believes that we're at the mercy of external circumstances. Said in another way, I act like I have no power to change my reality, like
Yeah.
it's happening to me, not for me. That's why people struggled in COVID, because they got consumed by this is happening to me. So, why are we addicted to being right to our limiting beliefs when they know it doesn't serve us? Why do we avoid responsibility for living our true potential out loud? Why do we stay safe and comfortable in familiar territory, relationships, jobs, situations, money, bodies that don't serve us? Why do we believe that we are helpless, hopeless, and have no power? Because we all believe we're not good enough to varying degrees, and we have to seek significance. So we become drama kings and drama queens, creating chaos and swirl and distraction and noise to feel something.
Yeah.
So we must go, cool. If I am not happy, if I have things I want to manifest, even if I don't know what they are, but I'm curious, I have to give up, or your beautiful word, surrender. I have to give up my shitty beliefs. I have to step into my own 2 feet and be responsible, because responsibility means I'm able to respond. Otherwise, you're powerless. I have to be courageous and brave and freaking go for it and stop the consumption of what people think. And I have to know that it's up to me.
Yeah. I love that brave one, because I was going to say, I was going to use the word risk, right? You know, once you get into this space, there's no risk. Like, if I look at this year, there's no way in the world I would have done that in the past, because I would have seen, problems or the can'ts, right? So, I could talk to you for hours, but we are running out of time, and I need to let you go. But I want to ask: do you think that people need a coach to do this sort of work if they're stuck, or can they do it on their own? And part B is, this is a sort of controversial question, is because I really think that 2020 has opened up the world of coaching and mental health. And I believe that not everyone is meant to be a coach or a mental health therapist, right? So I wanted your opinion on how our audience should seek the right person.
Yeah. Well, for me, the right person is the person looking themselves in the mirror. However, you can't, as I said before, you can't see the ocean from inside your own fishbowl. And the benefit that a coach provides is a perspective that you can't access because you're consumed by your own morass. So, do I believe getting a coach or a guide or someone to help you get a different point of view is vital? Yes. Absolutely. Not because I am one, just because I know it works.
Yeah. But also, the thing is that there's so many books now and podcasts, and so
Well,
it can be overwhelming, couldn't it?
Well, it can be overwhelming, but I believe that the best coach, the best guide, the best teacher is our gut. Our gut is an acronym for give up thinking. It's when we tune into our own intuition. So there are so many ways to fulfill on your own potential. You can seek out a coach. You can listen to podcasts like this. You can read books. You can go and do Vipassana. You can go and sit in an ashram. You can meditate. And that would be the first thing. Even this is a book that I recommend, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Practice savers every morning and watch what happens to the transformation of your own mind. So do I think it matters? Yes. It depends on how hungry you are to progress too. And also the quality of the coach. I too agree, Joey. I don't think everyone is cut out to be a coach or a mentor. I know that there are many coaches out there that live vicariously through, living through their clients' lives rather than deal with their own stuff.
Yeah.
I'm all about integrity. I work on myself just as much as you work on yourself to be a clearing to be able to coach.
But you use the right. Your explanations are so good. Like, the truth is your gut. I love that. So, all we're asking people to do is not just buy into something, just feel it if it's working for you.
Oh my
and
gosh.
and learn how to speak honestly, because look, I'm not trying to make the industry bad or put people down. All I'm saying is that you mentioned something earlier which I totally believe in, because I've taught therapists and I can see them in the first day and go, you aren't going to make it. Right. The thing is that people get caught up, I think, with the ideology of money. And, the amount of people that have said to me, oh, my God, you've got such an easy job. They don't realize that it's a full-on job that we had to work so hard to get to. So then when they get into it, they realize and they cut corners. And so, I know that it's popular at the moment, but I think as a person looking, you need to look for credentials. You need to look for what they write, how they act in their life, and that will lead you.
I agree. You have to do your due diligence if you're going to, hand over some money, which is just energy, to deal with. But first of all, trust your gut and listen to your inner voice and your knowing, because we know how that backfires when we don't honor our truth. Your gut is your guide. Your intuition is your inner teacher. It is your inner to it. Please don't ever underestimate that. That is the best guide and coach you'll find. And then do your due diligence and then interview them and interview them much like if you were going to sell a house, you would interview 3 real estate agents.
Because it's quite expensive, isn't it? I mean, it's an investment though. But it's interesting. Like some people would rather go out than invest in themselves. Now, I really need to be mindful of time. I do want to ask you one more question though. Can you just give a brief, what is Tanja Lee, gorgeous Tanja Lee 101 Zinger? What is her message to the world?
You are a miracle. You are the creator of your own reality. There is so much more to you that you are living out loud right now, and you know it. Give yourself permission to absolutely thrive and trust that your gut will guide the way.
Tanja Lee, you are the light of Australia. Thank you so.
I'm just the light of the
Well, you know, your energy and your again, I've not really heard you talk like this. Like your energy is you know, it's huge, but more importantly is that you're talking because you're walking the walk. You are authentically saying it. It's not like it's rehearsed or, you know, you're just in that space. And I think, you know, when people connect with this, they may go, oh my God, that's overwhelming or that's full on. But if they really take note, you're not really saying a lot for them to do. You're just saying to them, seek the life that you deserve.
Seek the life that you deserve, and you know,
And don't be scared of it.
and the standard that you walk past is the standard you accept. I'm asking people to raise their standards of their experience of living because so many people are unhappy. Get interested in being happy and fulfilled, and know that there's a common denominator, and it is us.
Yeah.
So, you know, those that are willing to do the work and clear the past and get present to their passion and purpose and manifest their truth, keep listening to the Secret Men's Business.
Tanja Lee, I hope you can come back.
I would love to.
We need to have you back on the show. So thank you so much. Blessings to you.
Love you.
And have a great day. So you've been listening to the Secret Men's Business podcast. So don't forget that the podcast is out on Monday and Thursdays at 9 a.m. Now, please hit the button and the notification button and get told when new podcasts are out. So have a great week and we'll see you next time. Bye.